Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Good evening, and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. Thought I'd try a new little intro there, have a little fun. And somebody's got me in the background. I can hear myself being repeated. Glad everyone is out there. Let me look at the restream chat, and we have. Let's go back to the beginning and see all who we have. The Aussie man who is always here. Bill.
Aussie.
Aussie man. Oh, why Mitchell? Why Mitchell? I don't know why.
Mitchell Lumnitter.
Yep, and
why not Mitchell?
Yeah, why not Mitchell?
Why not?
Leonard Davis is out there. Good to see you, Leonard.
What if
Lynn's handcrafted wood signs.
Howdy.
They're out there. Chris Nealon, Niantic River Woodcrafting.
Niantic.
Niantic, yes, Niantic. I'll get it right one of these days.
You had it. You lost it again.
Yeah, Wood If I Could Scroll Saws over there on Twitch. Good to see you over there. And we are definitely monitoring Twitch and Facebook. So if you're on either one of those and you post or chat, we will see it. I guarantee you. So those are all out there. Appreciate you being out there tonight. Yeah, we're going to be talking about, I'll announce the Whirligig. We only had 4 entries this year in the Whirligig War. I'm only going to give 2 prizes away. And so we'll announce that. And then we're going to talk about, I did a little video with my laser today, and we'll talk about lasers a little bit. And we'll get into that too. I started to go into it, but I don't want to get into it right now. So anyway, if you haven't already, go over there and hit that subscribe button and subscribe to me. I'd appreciate it very much. And also, while you're at it, give me a thumbs up. I like the thumbs up. The more, the better. And if you'll hit that little bell up there in the corner or down below or wherever it's at, it will give you notifications on when we go live or when I post a new video. And also, my sponsors are Devobel Technologies for web design, development, and hosting. Visit devobel.com. FastCap, innovative products for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years in woodworking. Create with confidence. Rockler.com, Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard-to-find woodworking supplies. Go to bearwood.com. Klingspor, the sanding specialist. Woodworkingshop.com. And Seiko, the scroll saw specialist. Seiko.com. And if you look up here, right here on this TV screen, they will roll around every once in a while, and you'll see all my sponsors, along with some cool stuff that I've done, bowls and scroll saw projects and stuff like that. They're all up here in this corner also. So good to have all y'all guys here tonight. Al, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me, Kilroy79763, all over the interwebs. Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop, and I noticed that everybody started putting up. And thanks, Paul. Thanks for the shout out. Everybody started. Yeah, see, Dixon's gonna show his icon too, I bet. But anyway, we're just look for Kilroy79763. I stream 2 p.m. Sunday on Twitch, and no nostalgia podcast tonight. Hobby is digging holes and pulling stubs. See, there it is right there.
Paul,
thanks for showing the point.
Paul's Messy Workshop. I figured since Al sent me that, at least I could show it off.
You can find me on YouTube and Instagram, huh? Oh, you want the back?
Yeah, that's your
Yeah.
logo, man. Yes, there you go. That's Paul.
Yeah.
Ah,
And hey, that's all I got.
Donald.
I'm Donald Matthews. My YouTube channel is Donald Vlogifies Woodshop. My website is redneckknowow.com. And my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Dixon.
I'm Dixon Hoffman, and you can find me at HoffmanSignsAndDecals.com.
Chris Ahern.
hey guy, Chris here from the Old Cranky Workshop. You can find me YouTube and Facebook, and you find me in the shop getting ready to monster carry the pallet challenge.
Yeah, I gotta mention. Don't forget to let me mention. Don't forget to let me mention that again tonight too.
It's
so.
September, boys and girls. It's time
Yep.
to get the battle going.
Well,
Crunch
since he
time.
started it, the pallet challenge is on. It's from September 1st to September 30th. So break out your pallets and your tools and get busy. Jim.
Jim Bashir's Driveway Workshop. Most of the stuff I've been doing the last couple of weeks is upsizing my Shapeoko CNC. So I've been making some videos on it, and I've got like 50 hard drives worth of stuff to go through. And I hate to make videos. I just abhor it. So, but it'll get out there. I did get my pallet torn apart though.
Yay!
Cool.
So going for that.
A few others that have joined us is James Parker, Jumbo5312, Gerald Vance has joined us over on Facebook. Hi, Gerald. Glad you joined us over there on Facebook. Leonard Davis, and also Jeff Walsma. Gerald Vance and Jeff Walsma have joined us. So good to have y'all join us out there in the last few minutes. I appreciate it very much. So, we only had 4 entrants this year to the Whirligig Wars. So I've got a year to think about if I want to continue with it or not. I hate to get away with it or do away with it. I really do, but I don't know what else to do. I mean, it's kind of like, it's almost like a riding a roller coaster. You'll get a bunch of them one year and then it'll flop one year. Then you'll get a bunch one year and it'll flop one year. So maybe I'll try it one more year. And if that doesn't work out, then definitely call it quits. But I'm going to give it consideration. I got till next June or July, whatever the date was.
I just wonder if coronavirus had a different effect than you'd have thought.
I thought about that, but I was thinking like they're trapped at home, so why wouldn't they want to get in the shop and make something?
I got the
making no money to buy
coronavirus now.
materials with either.
Well, but this is true. They might not have wanted to get out and buy them. So,
Okay, I need to break in for a second and answer Aussie. I was doing a live stream earlier in the week, and there was a mouse in my garage, and I kept seeing it running. I was trying to do a live stream and put this CNC together, and these parts were heavy. I was trying to like put the whole thing and line it up, and this mouse would like dart off to the side of my vision, and I'd like look at it, and I knew it was there. And I mean, I'm not really afraid of them, but it's just that freaky thing where you see it all of a sudden, and then every time a mosquito or something landed on my leg, I thought the mouse was crawling up my leg. So I just I'm shutting this down. I turned off the computer, shut down the live stream, and just went in the house. That was it. So Aussie, that's what happened to the mouse. Now I got traps out there.
And what you didn't know is the mouse turned it back on. He's been live all afternoon.
Yeah.
Y'all ever watch the movies Grumpy Old Men and then Grumpier Old Men? Well, on the second one is when the guy that owns the bait shop dies, and that Sophia Loren comes in and wants to open up a restaurante in there, right? So those two idiots, can't think of their names right off now, Jack Lemmon and
Walter Matthau?
Yep.
Yeah, Walter Mount.
Was
Yeah,
it?
I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Anyway, they take his granddaughter's gerbil and the inspectors there, and they turn it loose in the restaurant, so it'll run around. And the restaurant inspector, he's like, rats! You have rats in your restaurant. So the lady, Sophia Loren, she turns around and looks. She goes, "That's no rat!" And she runs over there and grabs it, and she holds it up. She says, "It's a guinea pig. A guinea pig." I thought that was funny as crap. They were trying to keep her from opening a restaurant because they wanted the bait house. So that was pretty funny.
Hey, Russ, Jeff Walsma out in the chat said he might be able to help sponsor the pallet challenge.
There you go.
Cool.
He's in the
let you know.
restream off Facebook.
Facebook. Yep.
Yeah, I see him. He's over on Facebook. Yeah, I'll get with you, Jeff. I will definitely get with you here in the next few weeks or the next week or so. I know I'm going to be busy the first part of the week getting my tires straightened out. So that situation. But yeah, I'll get with you for sure. And
First prize is Russell's old tires.
yeah, I wish I
Could make
wish I
swings
had
out of
them
it.
back.
I don't know. Charles Deering is still trying to sell his old tires, and his is a Dodge Dually also.
He's got a dually. When did he get a dually?
Isn't his a Dually?
No, he's a
I know.
35. His is a 3/4 ton. It's only a 4
Oh, okay.
tire.
I was going to say, man, when he drove to Atlanta for the show that one year, it had to cost him a fortune.
No, he's got a
Big gas.
3,500. Not a 3,500. He's got a
2,500.
2,500 four-wheel
25?
drive, but it only has 4 tires. Now that's the last time I seen it because I helped him work on it. He had to replace the water pump, and I helped him put a new water pump in it. So when I was there visiting him, but I mean, he could have changed. Let me tell you, just real quick. Okay, back in 2005, when I bought that Dodge truck as a Cummins diesel, I paid $50,000 for that truck. It was actually 60 something. I jewed them down and got it for 50. So the other day, just out of curiosity, I was thinking like, yeah, let's see how much the new ones are. So in order to get one comparable to what I have the quad cab 4 doors. I had the 8-foot bed, certain things on it. Those trucks now run 110,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's like, even if, let's say they gave me, the only way I could come out on the top part would if they gave me like maybe 30 or 35 for mine and a trade-in, you know what I'm saying? But still, I'm looking at paying $70,000. And I got sitting there and I was twiddling my thumbs and I said, you know what? I can put a lot of engines and transmissions in that truck for $110,000.
That is true.
It's a business write-off truck. That's what it is when you buy a new one.
Yeah, it is. I really could go drop down, and that would save me a chunk of change right there. I really could drop down to the 3/4, the 2,500, because I'm not pulling the heavy stuff I used to pull, the backhoe and stuff like that. So the 2,500 would suit me now. But I don't know. The dually's nice because when you hook a load to it, man, that thing will take it on down the road without any problem. So,
And you're used to it now.
yeah, I know. I actually like it. It's really nice. It rides really nice.
Leonard
When you're
Davis said,
driving one of those down the road, people get out your way.
Not me.
Oh yeah, it's like a mini semi. If I hit somebody, somebody's in trouble.
Leonard
you
Davis
guys have
said,
diesel trucks over here, they're very popular over here. We have them over here, but they're not. I mean, people still drive the gas trucks over here. I like the diesel. Mine has the old 24 valve inline straight 6 Cummins diesel, the old workhorse.
I don't know how it is there, but around here, diesel's quite a bit more expensive than gas.
Yes, it is here.
Yep.
And by the time,
about 50.
and you don't, I mean, my diesel, it got good mileage, but not enough to make up for the difference of the cost of the diesel.
Yeah, but the thing about a diesel,
other than it would tow anything I could hook onto it.
yeah, what I like about a diesel is my truck gets about 16 to 18 miles per gallon. All right. And if you high hook, let's say it's got a towing capacity of 18,600. So let's say I just strapped on 16,000 pounds to it, which is a damn good load.
It's a lot of hamburgers.
Yep. It would only affect the fuel mileage. Instead of 16 or 18, I drop down to maybe 14 or 16. You know what I'm saying? It'll only decrease the fuel mileage of a couple of 2 or 3 miles per gallon. Now you take a gas and hook
it'll drop a lot.
To it. Oh yeah, they lose about 8 or 9 gallons per mile. Yeah, they drop from like 15 gallons down to like 9 gallons.
In that 18,600, you have to deduct how much you weigh. So it's a good thing you went on a diet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, don't the like diesel's engines last forever?
Sure. Hey, you can get 400,000 easy.
You can't hurt. When I got rid of my diesel, I had 105,000 miles on it, and it ran as good as the day I bought it. And
that's just broken in on a diesel.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, mine. Guess what? My 205 only has 96,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
So it's not even broke in real good.
But when you
usually drive our cars till the
when you have to repair them, they're more expensive too.
Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive to repair. But I can. Yeah, you can put 300,000 miles on a diesel without any problem. And
sure. Yeah.
The main thing is just like everything else, keep the maintenance, keep good oil. I use that Shell Rotilla for diesels. I've used it from day one. That's the best diesel oil on the market. And I've kept that in it. And I keep it changed. Even if I'm not putting the miles on it, I'll change it probably every about 4 months just from it sitting, because, it's not good to let the oil sit just like it is in anything else.
Right.
So anyway, but yes. All right. So let's get busy and let me open up.
That's what she said.
What are we doing?
We're going to do the Whirligig Wars first.
All right. Yes.
Everybody say hello to Carl.
Looking forward to that.
Hello, Carl.
Okay. Let me go back to where's the heck's the
Hello,
playlist?
Carl.
Okay. And it keeps on pulling up Paul first. Oh, there we go.
The best first, the best last? I don't know.
Here we go. I'm going to share the screen. Share screen.
You're not going to let Paul share the screen?
Yeah.
Paul can do it for you.
Well, I've got a good reputation about that.
Yeah. Here are the 4 entrants for the Whirligig Wars. And like I said, I'm only do first and second place since we only have 4. And they are Paul's Messy Workshop. Now, this is the order that they came in. They're all Paul's Messy Workshop. Here's his.
Hi, I'm Paul. Welcome to my Messy Workshop.
But anyway, he goes through how he did it. But anyway.
Dude.
Workshop's got nothing on mine.
Right. Oh, man, I'm dizzy already.
I thought it was really neat, so I just made it.
I really like that.
Yeah, I know. I liked it too.
Oh.
Faster, faster, faster.
I'm going to get sick.
Oh.
Put your hands and legs in the car until the ride is stopped.
All right, that's Paul's. This is the second one that came in.
The bluegrass band.
Oh my God.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have music playing?
Yeah, I envisioned like banjo music.
Look at him really when it starts going. We're gonna go to town, boy.
Holy smokes! Who's
That's
that?
cool.
That was done by Guy's Woodcraft Shop.
Cool. This one doesn't make me ill to my stomach like the other one. There's nothing personal about it, Paul.
Hey, that's okay, Al.
And then the third one that came in was, we have two of these. We had one of them. This guy's got a chainsaw, and Jim, yours has got an axe.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Makes me want to sing. I'm a lumberjack it out.
I'm okay.
Yep.
I don't see any
all
face
night and I
shield.
work all day.
There's no
Cut
safety
down
boots
trees.
either.
I like how the log falls off.
I do too. That's really neat.
Resets. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
Yeah,
I
nice
like
touch.
it.
That's a great effect.
Yes.
And then last but not least is Jim Bashir's.
Drive-bys. Ooh,
Yep.
whack, whack, whack.
Let's see if
That
I can-
was
That's the old one.
There we go.
Oh, I was gonna say
This is
it's a bit
Jim.
weathered.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
a bit weathered, didn't it? Yes.
Cool beans.
You guys like my little rabbit habitat back there for the bunnies?
Oh
So
yeah.
the dogs
rabbit for
don't get
dinner?
them. No, the dogs like chase them into my yard.
But Jim, what were you having a problem with the wind that day?
There wasn't any, and I tried using my blower, my leaf blower thing, and I blew it over. So it's like, I'm like, forget it. But I hate to make videos too. So there's my new
I
cool
like how he
driveway workshop
ends
ending.
the video. There it is. I'm shutting my
The back of my garage door is the only clean spot in my shop.
Okay, so
Take
without
things to it
further
and
any
then
ado, second place. Like I said, we're only doing first and second this year since there's four. Second place is Paul McCrum,
Woo!
and then first place is the. Oh, I lost it. Give me 1 second.
Hey, Jim Dockrell's back.
Howdy, Jim.
Fourth place is the
Jimmy D.
Bluegrass Band Guys Woodcraft. So those are first and
Very
second
good.
place. So
Excellent.
first place is $25 to Guys Craft Woodshop from PayPal. I'll get a hold of him and get him his money. And second place, Paul, yours is $20 that I'll give to you in PayPal.
Great. Thank you.
Congrats, guys. Congrats.
Yep.
All right,
So
you get
good
to get
job.
the drinks
They all look good. I liked everybody's, but me and my wife did the judging this year, so that's the way it came out. And I really like the little dancers. He did a lot of work on each individual. One's playing a band.
Yeah, that's a cool.
Yeah. But Paul's, yours was fantastic too. That I was like, as soon as I seen that, I'm like, wow, that could almost give you a headache if you stared at it for a while.
Yeah, but after I watched Paul's for a little while, I got the strange urge to cluck like a chicken.
Oh, I'm still nauseous.
Yeah.
Well, cutting wood wasn't in this year, so me and the other guy.
It's gone out of
What
style.
are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's going out of style. No, they were all great.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just
Great work.
all great.
They all took effort, that's for sure. I didn't do one.
Paul went ahead of the wood choppers because it was just something so different, but it looked so cool.
Right.
Yeah, it really looked cool. And I remember that Steve Good pattern. Wasn't that Steve Good pattern?
Yep,
I
that's
remember
where I
that
got
when
the idea.
I
Was
get his
from
emails and get his patterns, and I remember seeing it, and I'm like, wow, that's really nice. That's really cool. So,
yeah. He put
Now,
an
did
electric
you-
motor on his.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you CNC that off of like directly off the plan?
I
Or
did. Yeah.
How much computer work did you have to do to get that
Not
pattern
much.
done?
All I did was input because they're both the same. They're just reversed of each other. So
Okay.
all I did was import the file that Steve had. I downloaded it. I made it a little bigger and imported that into Vectric and just cut two of them.
Yeah, great.
And then I even cut the blades on the propeller on my CNC.
I can't wait to get mine done.
And your poor scroll
That thing's
saw it sitting
huge.
there collecting dust.
Yes, I did. Well, it was always dusty.
Poor school
That's
saw.
not new.
Mine's been getting
yeah,
wild.
like I said, they were all good. It's really hard to judge, and I'm really kind of, like I said, I'm very disappointed in no more than we had this year.
I really tried to talk it up on the Whirligig Facebook group too. I don't know if those extra 2 guys jumped in here from there or where, but I was kind of surprised we didn't get Matt, because some of those guys make some amazing whirligigs.
I know,
It's
and you know what?
fantastic.
I have reached out to them for the last 3. I didn't reach out to them this year, but for the last 3 years prior to that, I reached out to them and really tried to get them on board, so to speak, with Whirligig Wars, where they promote it and get their people to, get in on it and do stuff like that. Because here's the thing that people don't seem to understand. Hold on, I'm saving a picture here real quick as I'm trying to talk. I could have gotten a lot more prizes, and the sponsors are willing to give stuff. Herefore lies the problem. It's hard for me to ask them to give stuff, and then I get 5 or 6 sponsors, and I had some heavy hitters that were willing that last year that we did so good to come up with like $150 worth of prizes. But when you turn around and only get 5 or 6 people, and then you have to extend it not once but twice, the sponsors ain't going to deal with that.
It makes it tough.
Yeah, they're not going to come back with that. They're going to say, especially when you tell a sponsor, I'm sorry I couldn't use this year, we didn't have enough people, so you call them next year. Nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing anything this year. Some of their excuses, we're not really doing that this year. So there you go. They just drop off like flies, and then it's once you got them, it's pretty easy to keep them. When you lose them, it's hard to get them back. Trust me.
Right.
So it is what
they want to get some kind of return for their investment,
Right.
Yeah, they want advertisement. They want the 30 people or 20 or 30 people to put in their whirligigs, because people are looking at all the videos and they see the sponsors and stuff. That's what they want.
Well, you got to think of a way to bring people back.
Ratio, like 1 out of every 10 that'll visit or something will at least go to their website and look and maybe even buy something. Or there's a ratio. I don't know what it is, but
There's got to be a way to bring people back. That's why I sponsor the first time entry for the Pallet Challenge, to get new people. I don't know if we could do that somehow with the whirligigs too.
Jim wants to know, Russ, do we still have to pay PayPal account to enter the contest? Which contest are you talking about, Jim? We have 3 going. We have the whirligig, we have the Pallet Challenge, and then we have the scroll saw. Are you talking about? And number 1, the only reason I went to the PayPal stuff was because of people that were actually entering from any of them. No, here's the thing. The reason I did the PayPal stuff, was not to replace the sponsors and their gifts. We have people from outside the USA, and I've got people in Germany, in Ireland, in Mexico, and Australia that would participate and like to participate, but none of the sponsors want to ship overseas. It's just too much money to ship. If they give a $30 item, it costs them $50 to ship. It ain't worth it.
Right.
So the PayPal thing was created by me so that I had a couple of gifts to give people from out of the country. I could give them a PayPal $20 or $25 gift certificate, and transfer it to their account, and they could use it over there to buy whatever they wanted. So therefore, there was no import fee or shipping fee or any of that stuff. So that was the only reason the PayPal thing, I started doing that. So that's all it was. It was just to be able to because I hate people like, Bill, if he wanted to enter one of the contests and enter it or whatever, I hate that he has no way to get a prize. At least with the PayPal thing, he could get a prize. And then I had several people that were willing to donate. I talked to a couple of people that had did it in the past, and they were willing to donate to the Steve Good's always willing to donate. And he even told me he would donate to the PayPal thing for people that from other countries and stuff too. So, but that's the reason the PayPal thing came about. It wasn't to replace the sponsors and their gifts. It was to give people overseas and in different countries at least a chance to get a gift. That's all it was. And it was my thought of doing that because, like I said, I hate for these people to enter and not be able to have a chance because I know they're sitting there going like, yeah, we always get stuck with the raw end of the deal because we live in, Australia. So it's like, yeah, unfortunately you do. And I've talked to Bill over in Australia, and he said, what was it that you sent him, Jim? It ended up costing like $200 to ship it.
It was an arbor, some type of an arbor for his lathe, but
right.
It was kind of expensive to ship it. But I mean, he couldn't get it over there. He couldn't get it there. New Zealand couldn't get him from there.
But didn't it end up costing like $200 to ship it?
Oh no, I don't think it was that much, but it wasn't cheap. I think it was $50-something to ship it, but it,
Yeah.
I
But like you said,
somebody
he has
sent a T-shirt over to Jamie Page between what it cost them for mailing and what it cost him for import fee on the other end. It wound up being like $150 T-shirt.
Yeah. They have import fee and a value-added tax.
Yeah.
And now since Brexit, I mean, I don't know what Britain's doing now. They've got a whole new for work. They've got a whole new approvals thing now. It's I can't remember the initials, but it's like UL or something like that over here. CA or CUL. They've got their own whole approval thing now. So it's completely cut off from everybody else.
Yeah, Leonard Davis wanted to know what's the exchange rate, and Aussie Man said 72 cents to your dollar. But here's the thing: I understand the stuff costs more, but it's not necessarily like we're talking about that the item costs so much more. It's that the import fees and the shipping fees eat you alive.
PayPal is awesome because you can get anybody's email and instantly send them money.
Yep.
Right. And that's what I like about PayPal. I can go in there and transfer $20 to PayPal, which I'll do in the next day or two to Paul, and he instantly has it, and he can do whatever he wants to. He can transfer it to his bank, or he can go online and spend it. He's got several opportunities, and that's the same way. And especially like people in Australia, they're under a martial law and they're on lockdown. Yeah, they can only go to get groceries and the bare necessities. They're not even supposed to be out. It's like if they get caught out and they're not doing what they're supposed to be, they can get in trouble.
Yeah, so, Bill posted like a bottom line thing. If you want something, you just suck it up and pay for it.
Right. Yep. And
there's not much else you can do.
He could see if I sent somebody PayPal, they could, if they were in lockdown, they could still order online, use the money online and order something, have it delivered to their house. So that from those companies that would deliver to them. So
I was in my basement and I had a J who's the company in Texas? I think it's a J-Tech or Laser. And he wanted to do a trade for that laser, and I'm in my basement, and I says, okay, I got to have $300 cash, and he gave me some 3D printers, and got his email, and right there, boom, he sent me the money. I had it in my hand, and off he went. It was so simple.
Well, see, it's like a lot of people. I have a lot of people from overseas that want to buy a pen from me, but whereas it cost me $4 to $5 to ship a pen here in the U.S., it's going to cost that plus 30 plus bucks in customs. Plus, a lot of them countries, when they get it, they have to pay a fee too to collect it. So it's really not worth it.
The first thing we sold on my wife's Etsy store was one of my seam rippers, right? So this gal in England wanted it in the UK, and I am glad she was just so patient because we were going back and forth trying to figure out how to ship it over there because it was going to be more than it was worth and value-added tax and all this stuff like that. And she goes, you know what? I got a U.S. post office number in Miami. Just send it there. So that's kind of the way to do it,
And even in Australia, I had a friend. I was actually going to go ahead and do it for them, but there's certain woods you can't ship in there.
Yep.
Really? Yeah.
Jim Dockrell said $1 worth more there than other countries. Theirs is $107 to our $1. So.
Wow.
Yep.
That's why when I do the pallet challenge, I just use Amazon. Pair of clamps.
Yeah.
I ship it from Amazon. Let them worry about it.
We have Carl Gentry. What was this that you told him, Carl? Can we do this every Saturday night at 8 p.m.?
No, he asked when we do it, and I just said
okay.
Saturdays at 8.
Right.
Eastern.
Carl Gentry. What time of day your show starts? Yes, it starts every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. USA, Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Like, for instance, for Aussie Man, I'm going to bed. This is Sunday morning over in Australia. He's watching it Sunday morning.
He's having breakfast. Breakfast with the boys.
He's watching it while he's having breakfast.
In the winter.
Yep.
In the winter, yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I was sitting there, and again, I understood that there was a time difference, but I had no different idea it was like 12 hours. But he goes, "Yeah, I watch you every morning I watch you every morning while I'm eating breakfast." And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's the one thing that tripped me out about Australia. Before I got to thinking about, the way the Earth tilted and all that, it was like 90 degrees in here, and my friends over there talking about freezing their butt off of them.
Yeah, it's winter over there right now. It's kind of like the opposite. They're in winter time right now, which they don't have it's 10:36 a.m. Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Right now.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day. Aussie man, Bill. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. But yeah, they don't. He said they don't get the harsh, lots and lots of snow and everything. You don't get, a harsh winter, but it is winter time. Yep. Happy Father's Day. All right. So, I bought a new laser. I had the little Ortour 20-watt laser, which it really wasn't 20 watt. I found out Jim Docker was an ass, and he bursted my little bubble and told me it was only 5.5 watt. So never have got over that, Jim. Really never have got.
That wasn't me, man. It was.
Yeah. So anyway, but they trick you. It's 20 watt power as far as power supply, but it's only 5.5 watt actually laser power. So they have a sneaky way. You have to watch those Chinese. They're sneaky. The little bastards.
Those darn electrical engineers.
Yeah.
So, they put 20 watt. You're buying a 20 watt laser, right?
Yeah.
And you read it. It says 20 watt.
That's your power
they don't
supply.
say that it's 20 watt power consumption. Yeah. They don't put that there in their advertisement. Oh no. They lead you to believe that it's 20 watt laser. But when you get it, and then you have a friend like Jim who goes, "By the way, that's not 20 watt, it's only 5.5. You go, "What?"
Well, this show's just been banned in China.
So then you go read the specs, and sure enough, it's 20 watt power consumption, but the actual laser output is 5.5 watts. And I'm like,
it gets the job done.
I want to tell you, I couldn't.
It's just a number.
I paid $300 for it, give or take. Got it off of Amazon. It was delivered in like 2 days. And it's done everything that I wanted. I knew that was not a laser, even at 20 watts. I knew I was not getting a laser that I was going to cut with. I never intended on cutting. I bought it for engraving, and it lived up to every expectation I had. It engraves perfect. I even bought the rotary for it, and it'll even do those mugs, the painted mugs. It will burn the paint off the mugs, and they look great. Actually, I like it better for mug engraving than the big 80 watt, because the power is so low that it doesn't scorch the aluminum or the stainless steel underneath, so to speak.
Yeah.
It does a better job. So I couldn't have asked for more for that Ortour. It's done a fantastic. It's still working. It's great. Love it. So, that being said, after I had it for a few months, I decided, hey, I would really like, Leonard Davis wants to know where the other 14.5 watts go. Yeah, for real. I wanted something bigger. I was thinking about getting 100 watt, but you have to start considering size of these things. And so mine, and I'll actually show it here.
I'm kind of glad we're going to do this tonight, because since I'm making that CNC bigger, my wife wanted to know if I could laser cut cloth and stuff for her for our purse patterns and stuff like that. And with that size bed, now it's going to, actually be big enough to really do something big like that. And I know there's a couple of U.S. companies that sell some really good attachment lasers for Shapokos and that.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe we can get into that a little bit too while we're talking about yours.
We can talk about it, or any of them all. I'll get through. Once I get through showing you mine, then you can show me yours. I mean, we can talk about it more.
Let's take that out of the.
Anyway, this is it. It is 38 inches tall, 42 inches wide, and 57 inches long. The actual cutting bed is 24 by 35, or the lasering bed, so to speak, is 24 by 35. So,
Jim, you ought to just go to buy one of those.
I don't have any room for it, man, or else I'd with a heartbeat.
All right, so this is actually what it looks like sitting in my shop. So actually, there was a workbench here against this back wall. Okay, and this is actually sitting in the same place where I used to do the Let's Talk Shop and Russ show in my shop. There was a workbench sitting there, and the workbench was always behind me in all my Let's Talk Shop Russ show videos. So I ended up tearing the workbench out to get this big back because I really underestimated its size. Even though you get the dimensions, you still don't realize how big it is till you get it. So this is actually sitting in my shop. From this shelf right here on the right, this shelf wasn't even there. The wall is probably about another 3 foot past. This shelf's about 3 foot. So there's another 3 foot to the left of this. But it sits perfectly. This runs up to the window and to the exhaust fan. I put a bigger exhaust fan in it, and goes out the window for the exhaust is what that does. So you can see here in the shadow, this is a little table. This is where my laptop sits to run it. And that's the chair that I sit on. So here I got a little tickle in my throat. This is actually the laser tube where the lens is. So this mirror, there's a mirror in. See where these 4 screws are up top?
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a mirror in here, and the laser beam comes into this mirror and gets deflected down. The lens sits in this little area right in here, and it gets directed down through the lens and then out the end down here. Now this, I haven't got a very good shot of it, but the reason this cone is there, this is actually where the air assist comes in, and it actually shoots air down through here. This is the tube for the air assist right here, and it actually shoots air down through here to keep the path of the laser clear. But and these are micro adjustments to get those mirrors lined up. I was fortunate. I've had heard of people that when they got theirs, they had to align it. Mine came out of the box, mirrors aligned, everything perfect. I mean, I was able to fire it up and start cutting and engraving right off the bat. I didn't have to do nothing. The 2 things that I did do were I upgraded the exhaust fan because with their P4 exhaust system, there was constantly smoke inside the cabinet. That's not good for the laser, and it's not good for the mirrors. You got to clean the mirrors more often. You got to clean the lens more often. And there's 3 mirrors, by the way, this one and 2 more. So you're just not, it's not good. So I got a bigger exhaust fan. As fast as this thing can produce smoke, it's gone, especially with the air assist on it. Now this little red thing here, this is for your autofocus. And what it is the sensor. You can get this thing set up and get it, down to millimeters. 1 millimeter of adjustment. It's like really, really good. So what you do is it has a Z height adjustment. You would put the material underneath the lens and the red thing, and then you hit the autofocus, and it'll actually bring the bed up. And this little silver tip right here, the material comes in contact with a silver tip, which tells it where it's at, and then you auto have a preset on how far it backs off, which I think mine's set to like 3 millimeters. So it'll come up and touch this tip and then back down 3 millimeters and stop, and then boom, you're in focus. And I had to, now this I did have to set, get the autofocus set a little bit better. It was set, but it wasn't quite good enough for me to cut. I noticed when I was trying to cut, it didn't want to cut really good. And so I did what's called a ramp test. And what that is you take a piece of board and you put it on the bed of the laser, and you raise one end up. You set this laser about 1 inch off the bed, and you raise that one piece up to where it's touching the bottom of the tip. And then you bring it out. You can run it out about 2 foot. I only had to do mine about 2 foot. And then you fire the laser off and let it do a line. It'll start off really wide line because this thing's up near the laser. It'll run down the ramp, and at some point in that ramp, you'll get the narrowest part of the beam. And then as it gets to the bottom of the ramp, which gets farther away, the beam will wide out again. So then you just bring your laser back to that point of the narrowest mark and measure the distance between that mark and the bottom of this tip. And that's how you set your autofocus. And once you do that, you can get, like I said, pinpoint measurements or measurements to get it really in focus. And let me tell you, it'll slice through 1/4 inch plywood like hot butter. I don't have any problem doing it. I haven't tried 1/2 inch, but I don't have any need for 1/2 inch. I do have some 3/8 inch that I'm going to try later on, but right now I do 1/8 and 1/4, and it goes through 1/4 without one pass. It'll cut right through it in one pass. So this is the Rudy or Rudia, however you want to call it, controller. That's the controller for it. This is like, basically it has an onboard computer, like a laptop inside of it. And so this is the controller and the computer run together. In other words, like a laptop, it tells it what to do. So you can either you can make changes here. You can set the origin. You can frame it. You can pulse the laser to fire it. It's got a menu for different things inside. You can reset it. You can start, pause, stop. The function key gives you different settings and different stuff. So you can see up here it says laser power 80 watt CO2. It's got it was manufactured February 24th. I got it in March, so it was like brand new. So, but that's the Rudy or Rudia controller is just another shot. These are all the other little switches that go to it. Red means the laser is firing. If you lift the lid, which the lid's lifted open right now, the laser will quit firing. It'll go into yellow to warn you the lid's lifted. Green just means there's power on it. This is the emergency stop button. This is the button that you push to engage everything except for the laser. This engages the Rudy controller. This engages the power supplies. Everything on the laser fires off with this little push button. In order to get the laser to work, you have to turn this key. So
how do you get the program onto the laser? You got a flash drive or something?
You can upload it through flash drive. I use this laptop that I'm using right here to run the show. I use it I use Lightburn software and let it transfer it to it. Now, some people have reported, I'm glad you brought that up, Paul. Some people have reported problems with their lasers having problems cutting, and come to find out they're using some of these antiquated piece of crap laptops. And I hate to say it like that, you know what I'm saying? But they really are. They're using like laptops that are like 10 years old, and the data, they're not even using like 3.0 USB. They're still using the old USB 2.
God forbid.
The data transfer is not fast enough for the Rudy controller. So there's actually a lag of the controller waiting for the information. So therefore it messes up their cut. So you need to have an up-to-date computer, really, to power this thing. If you're not going to have the up-to-date computer, then the next best thing was just like you said, you need to transfer the files to a USB stick and then upload it to the controller. Now there's a limit of space on this controller. It's not very big either. So you would pretty much have to run a file and delete it, or maybe run 2 files and delete them off the controller because there's not enough space to put a lot of stuff on there. And, but yeah, I transfer it with this laptop without any problem. That's just another view of the controller. That's a view of the controller with the controller on. See how the yellow light's on? That's telling me that the cover is open. And then this is what the screen looks like on the controller.
Will your laser fire if the cover's open?
No. Nope.
Does it keep trying? Going back.
Let me explain to you something. It is set up from factory to not fire with the lid open. You can do something to it to make the lid, make it fire with the lid open.
Does it keep going back and forth though?
Huh?
Does it keep going back and forth though?
What do you mean?
Okay.
No,
does
your
it turn the
XY.
laser off, but it keeps going back and forth?
Your axis movement shuts off too as soon as you open the cover.
It stops it from moving too then.
Yes.
Yes, right, Russ. Yep.
Yes. In other words, if I'm doing a project and I lift the cover, it goes into pause mode.
It pauses, yeah.
Yeah, there's an enable bit on that Rudy board, and as long as that door's shut, that enable bit is closed on the Rudy controller. As soon as you open the door, the enable bit opens up, which stops everything.
Right. Now, what you have to do, you can do that. You can open it up, do whatever you need to do, and then shut it. That you have to go back and hit and let it unpause, in other words, for it to start all over. It doesn't automatically start. You have to tell it to start.
Can you install the laser as if it were a printer and maybe print out of, say, Corel or something like that? Because that's how we have the one set up at the college.
No, the Rudy controller will. Well, I take that back. Somebody said the other day that there is a way to get Corel to respond to the Rudy controller. So I would have to say you'd have to look into that. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I use Lightburn software and it works perfect. And I really, Lightburn software is like Aspire to a CNC. Yeah, it's really a great software. I was actually impressed. They'll let you download it and try it for 30 days. And people say, well, it's not the working version. Bullcrap. It's just as good as the one you pay for, but you got 30 days. I played around with it for 30 days and I paid the $40. It's worth it. This is my air assist and my exhaust fan. This little button right here is the exhaust fan. You can, when you push it once, a little light will come on and they keep on going around till they circle. You push it 8 times and it's on max. And this whole circle will light up all the way around. And then this is the regulator. I run about 20 to 25 pounds of air pressure on the air assist. I've got it set at 25. This is my gate valve right here to open. So if I'm engraving, you don't need 25 pounds, okay? So rather than going back and changing the regulator every time, I just crack the gate valve a little bit when I'm engraving, and that gives it enough to keep the stuff blown away and the smoke away from the laser. You don't want smoke around the lens because it gets the lens and the mirrors dirty quicker. So you want to keep that. And then plus, if you're cutting, that's when I open this thing up full, because you do want the high pressure to blow the soot out of the line that you're engraving so that the laser beam itself can get in there and do its job and cut. It's not being hindered by the soot. So, but I just crack this open a little bit just for the engraving. You want just enough to keep it from the ashes from settling on your piece, so they're blown away, so to speak.
So what'd you do with the cooler? Oh, that's the cooler. Okay.
Yeah, this is the cooler.
What a timely question.
Yep. This is the cooler that sits next to it. You can see, if you look back here, you can see the plastic tubing going into the unit. The unit itself you can actually set the alarm up on here. I didn't set the alarm up because the unit has an alarm itself. Inside the unit, it has a water flow control valve. And what it does is it senses when if water is flowing. So if the water stops flowing, it automatically shuts the laser off so that it doesn't burn the laser out.
Now that come with it, or do you have to buy that separate?
No, the water flow control valve comes with the laser and is inside the laser.
No, the chiller.
The chiller.
Oh, the chiller. No, you have to buy the chiller separate.
Yeah.
Now, this is a chiller. This is a Freon controlled refrigerant chiller. This is not just like a radiator unit where it's blowing the air inside the shop. So if your temperature inside the shop 70 degrees, it's blowing 70 degrees air across your coils. Now, this is actually refrigerant. If you can see, I was cutting this piece out, and I'm going to show it in a little bit, and it was running at 17.2 centigrade. So actually, I run it down at 16.2 to 17.2. So it fluctuates anywhere between 16 to 17 degrees centigrade.
So yeah, I think on that one you can set your high and low limits.
Yes. On this one, you can set your high and low limits. And
is that from the U.S. or is that a Chinese chiller?
This is a Chinese chiller.
Okay.
So 16 to 17 degrees is about 60, give or take 60 to 65 degrees, somewhere in that area. Actually, I think it's 60 and 64 or 60 and something like that. But so I run mine down around 60 degrees. Now, the reason I can do that is because this shop that this thing sits in is climate controlled. So I can get the temperature and the humidity down. I can get the humidity down to 45% and the temperature down to 70 degrees in the shop. So therefore, I don't have to worry about condensation on the laser tube and having it burn itself up, because condensation on the laser tube will destroy the laser tube. I'll talk about that more in just a few more minutes. This is actually the laser output. If you'll see that it says water protection on, that water protection on means that it's sensing the water flowing. Okay. So if this water protection went off, that means the water would quit flowing. That would turn the laser off, so it wouldn't fire. I'm running about 6 milliamp right now, and this is engraving. I think it got up to like 11 or 12 milliamp on cutting, but it's running about 6 milliamp. And then a lot of people told me that this thing did not work on the 80 watts. This is a minimum and maximum. And I'm like, huh, really? So I had the laser start firing and doing some test cuts. And then I had it set on maximum, and I backed the sucker all the way down to minimum. And guess what? The laser quit firing. So
really?
I backed it all the way up to maximum. And guess what? The laser started firing again. So this does work. So
Russ Meadows wanted to know what you had to wind up paying for the laser and the chiller together.
A little over $3,000. Actually, it was $3,200 with the laser and the chiller. So this does, I don't give a flip what they say. And I heard from other people that said, if you've got this on your laser, it will work. It controls the laser, the controller. This only comes with the controllers that are adjustable, so to speak. This wouldn't be on a controller. It wasn't adjustable. So I really like this feature because you can manually, if I was burning something, let's say this was halfway down and I was burning something and I seen that it wasn't enough power, I could actually manually change this on the fly, which makes it really nice. I like that.
That K40 laser I've got has an analog meter and a potentiometer on it to adjust the current, but some of them you could have bought them with a like electronic board in it that it was all digital, but unlike now, just tweak the knob,
I think that's it. Oh, this is when I first turned it on. This is when I first turned it on. So tell me what 21 degrees Celsius is. Somebody type it in your computer.
Type it in.
Yeah,
Okay.
find out what 21 degree. I don't know what 21 is. I'm thinking it's 70 degrees or 70.
It's 84.2.
No,
84.2.
20.
69.8.
I can't hear you.
69.8.
Is 21.3?
21.3 is 70.34.
Okay, that's the temperature in my shop because this is when I first turned it on. So it didn't have far to go. It only had to drop from 21 down to 16.
I guess.
Yeah. No, I keep it cold in there just for I've got the CNC in there and I've got other equipment in there. I keep my laptop in there during the week when I'm not using it for the show. So I've got enough stuff in there that's electronics. And let me tell you, I don't care what anybody says. And a laser is a computerized piece of equipment. These people that are having them in their garages and it's 90-something degrees and they're running these chillers. That's one of the things I want to talk about. They're running these chillers. Their laser tube is starting to sweat and it is getting into the wiring and their electronics and it's frying their tubes. Every time you turn around saying like, is this supposed to be happening? And they'll have their tube door open and electricity will be flying around that compartment where their tube's at with all the water in there. So these things are not designed. Actually, if you look at the specs on OM Tech, it says they're only supposed to be I think it's 76 degrees is what they recommend.
Yep, it's got to be climate controlled because your glass tube will also crack from the arcing because it's 20,000 volts. It's very small milliamps, but it's 20,000 volts.
Right.
20 to 30,000.
It's like an old color TV picture tube.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to I got a little video I want to show you too real quick and then we'll get into what you were talking about, Jeff. I've got plenty of time, don't I? Crap, it's almost 9. It's 9 o'clock.
It's your show, man. You got all the time.
It's only 5 after 8.
Yeah. 8:02.
Real quick. I'm on a lot of the forums on the Facebook with the lasers and stuff, and I've learned so much. They're fantastic forums. But what kills me, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack about this, and y'all probably even going to say something, but what kills me is these people have absolutely no idea. They see these lasers and they think, I'm going to buy one and I'm going to make all this stuff and make this money on it. They buy them and all they are on this forums are complaining about, it won't do this, it won't do that. How do I do this? And I'm like, why did you buy it if you can't use it? I mean,
well, it's the same thing with CNCs.
Yeah.
3D printers. Yeah.
3D printers.
So his 80-watt laser the other day, just like mine, and with a chiller. It was only 3 months old. He sold it for $1,000 because he just threw it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's more to it. You don't
Is
just
a lack of computer skills.
Yeah, he was like in Pennsylvania or whatever. And I'm like, man, if I lived up there, I'd be snatching that sucker up on a heartbeat.
Why don't people down the block from me do that?
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
I'd like to get rid of my workbench for that.
You've got to keep the mirrors clean. You got to keep the lens clean. You should check the mirror alignment from time. Now, I want to tell you this: they're full of crap. And I got a couple other people that know about lasers more than I do, and they told me the same thing. But once you get your mirrors aligned and once you get them locked down, unless you have something drastic happen to that machine, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go through it. Now, you need to check your mirror alignment from time to time to make sure they're aligned. But once they're locked down, they're not going to move. I keep on. This one guy says, I'll realign my mirrors every, 30 or 40 hours or whatever. And I'm like, why? They can't move.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if I was to accidentally put a big piece of wood and drop it and hit one of the mirrors, I probably knocked it out of alignment. But if you're just using it normal, it's not going to move. So it's like, this much the mirrors and the lens, even though I have a 25 to 30 pounds that I can put on that to keep that smoke out, and I bought a really bigger than what I needed. Let's put it this way: the smoke can't even stay. As soon as it produces smoke on top of the board, it's gone because the thing's sucking it out. And with the air assist blowing it, it can only stay in there. So but you still need to clean the mirrors and the lens from time to time because the smoke does get on them. You're never going to be 100%. You're going to keep it down to a minimum where you can use the laser longer between cleanings, but you still have to clean it. So,
hey, Russ, Leonard Davis asked how much area you need, including the work area for the laser.
well, you look back at my thing. I'll go back when I go to see that you're going to need at least a couple of feet on each side of the laser, and you're going to need it. You know what I mean? You could probably put that laser in probably an 8x10 or an 8x8 room and have enough room to get in around it and do, because you need to be able to get to the tube. You need to be able to observe the tube, clean the tube. Somebody opened up their tube the other day on one of the forums, and it was just covered with crap and smoke.
Wow.
Yeah. And the guys, they said, "Oh, that's normal. You got to clean them like that every once in a while." I'm like, "Bull crap. I've had mine for 3 months and use it all the time." I opened up the tube the other day to look, and it's as clean as the day I bought it because my exhaust system and my air system works.
Isn't there certain materials that might clog it up worse? I can't remember where I was reading or hearing about this. It doesn't
clog it up worse, but they can cause problems. If you cut PVC,
that's bad.
Off, it will create fumes that will actually kill you, but it also produces fumes that will eat the laser up.
It generates chlorine.
Reading somewhere that something got popular about taking old albums.
Yes,
that's PVC. PVC in the vinyl. A
guy was cutting a vinyl record out, old ones that were scratched up were no good. He was cutting them out, like the Beatles album. He'd actually cut the Beatles walking on, what was the street or whatever, and
Abbey Road.
Yeah, Abbey Road. There you go. They were walking out. He actually cut Abbey Road thing out of the vinyl album, and he was cutting them for like, let's say 30 days or whatever. So he went out there to cut one day, and this is not bullcrap because I saw the pictures. Steve Good's the one that told me about it, and I went and visited. I went to where he told me to go and listen to his video and saw the video and the pictures. Anyway, so after he'd been doing it for 30 days, he goes out there, turns the laser on, and the laser won't come on. He's like, "What the heck?" So he opens it up, and he opens the bottom up where everything's at, and he opens where the control panel's at, and it's all just corroded and rust. Everything in the laser is gone. It is
chlorine,
vinyl fumes eat the laser.
Lucky he didn't die.
Yeah.
Lucky he didn't die.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't
the
die
gases.
too. Yeah, so
you do need to be vigilant about what you put in there.
Oh yeah, there's a list of there. You could get a list on the internet of what you should cut.
Now, one plastic it will cut, and you can engrave and cut it, is the acrylic, like acrylic plexiglass type stuff. They're saying cast acrylic works better than extruded. On my 80 watt, I've used cast and extruded, and they work perfect.
I wonder how
you can do acrylic. Yeah, I will tell you this much: when you do the acrylic, I've done some acrylic. It still has a funny smell to it. It's not
stinky.
Like
yeah, it's got a rotten smell. You don't want to breathe it in, but it's not deadly.
Let me get them open first. Let me show the videos real quick. I'm going to go through this real fast so we can talk. Jim wanted to talk a little bit more about some other stuff too. Hey, I would say if you can buy a laser, you can afford one. But if you can't do anything else, start off with the
40K.
Yeah, the little
or the other
K40s.
Like or tour.
Did you get yours running, Jim?
Yeah, it works. It works fine. I just don't get in there to use it very much.
Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So this is something I cut. I'll show the finished product here in a little bit. Oh, I went too far. Oh, there it is. Oh, I wanted it to frame. Where'd the frame go? There it is. All right. So first thing is I frame the area that I'm going to cut. And what I do is I set the laser and tell it to frame, and it's going to show me where it's going to cut so that I know I'm right where I need to be. And I want it on the corner of this board. This is an 1/8 inch Baltic birch plywood. So it framed, I know that's where I'm going to cut this thing. So then I fired it off and had it start cutting. So I'm running 300 millimeters a second at about 20 power, which actually runs to the anywhere between 3 to 6 milliamps over there on that gauge. Now you see between, this is engraving, but between the engraving and the, now I don't have glasses and the case is open. I've got the door where I can do that. So once I started the camera and hit start on the button, I actually walked out the front of the shop and I had my phone with me. I've got a camera in my shop there. I can watch this thing cut and do stuff. I can sit in my computer and watch it, so I don't have to be out there with it. But anyway, I was just watching the camera while I was doing this to make sure it was watching, because I don't have glasses for this. I have glasses for the Ore Tour, but the wavelength is different for this laser, and it'll mess with your eyes. So I'm not going to let this go all the way through. I'm just going to show you this. Fast forward. Yeah, this is fast forward. Now it's starting to cut out the big parts of the letters here. Now you can see the smoke. See the smoke? But notice where it's going. As soon as it comes off the laser, between the blowing out of the laser, it goes straight down through the vent to the bottom and out. It doesn't linger around in the cabinet. Okay, I had to switch to the outside because actually with the lid open, the smoke was starting to come into the shop. So I ended up switching out and just shutting the lid. This is going through the lid. Now I can stand in there and watch it because the lid's closed. So yeah, this is going and going. I love watching the thing do this. And then the third one, this is actually, it's cutting. I can't scroll saw this fast, trust me. Oh, there it is. So watch how long it takes to cut this thing out. And once again, this is actually cutting the 1/8 inch plywood. Notice how there's hardly little to no smoke between the, now I've got the air pressure on this cut jacked up to like 25, 30 pounds. And then the exhaust fan's still on. That thing just cut so slick.
So I've got a question.
Yes.
Is this considered woodworking?
Yes. As far as I'm concerned,
Here we go.
I take that back.
Here we go.
It's considered making, not woodworking. It's
okay.
considered making.
It's a maker space.
Good answer.
I'm a maker.
All things are considered. It's a maker space.
Yes. Because that's usually the question that people ask. Well,
That's
is
it. If you
woodworking?
notice, it is cut because look down here, you can see where once the piece cut all the way through, it fell down.
The difference is you could either use 20 minutes to make that sign, or you can do it by hand and use a half a day.
Yeah.
I've always said, are
And a
you
big stress
using
relief.
wood? Then you're working with wood.
He's got to take that out and
Woodworking.
sand the edges.
Really? I
Yeah,
like
Brian
that.
Warner's got a good thing there is keep a spray bottle of water with the machine just in case you have a
Yeah,
little
that's a great
fire.
idea.
But I will tell you this, Brian, if you have enough air assist, you won't have a fire. It can't have a fire. The air is so powerful that it's blowing it out. But you are right, and I do have one in there just in case something was to happen. But yeah, you get one of those little buy a Home Depot little spray bottle and fill it full of water and keep it. I keep one on my grill in case it's flare ups. So I can spray the grill, keep the flare ups down. So
It's not even a laser.
yeah, so that's a good idea. So anyway, Jim, what would you want to talk about?
The little like JTech lasers, they have magnet attachments. You put them on your CNC where close to where the router's at,
Right.
and you can do engraving and light cutting and stuff like that too. I just wondered if anybody, maybe probably not in here, but in the chat, may have used one of those things in the past. Because my wife wants to cut patterns out for the purses that she makes.
Yep.
With something like that. So.
Yep, I had a JTech. JTech
Did
is
you like
top
it?
of the line. JTech is top of the line in the United States for lasers, and the JTech laser will cut that material real easy.
So it'll cut through cloth real easy.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, Dixon, they have a JTech 40 watt diode laser, but what is it actually putting out? Dixon, do you know what it's putting out as far as
you're closer. You're closer. The real Chinese ones that say 5 watts, they're only putting out like 3.5 to 4, but these JTechs will really put out 7, and you'll be able to cut your. I had one mounted on my CNC at one time, and they're top of the line, and I think you would be able to get by with like a $500 JTech for cutting material cloth.
Brian Warner said he's talking about the debris under the work surface flare up. I haven't had that.
Sounds like Brian
yet.
knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I haven't had that problem yet, but I can see that, especially if you're cutting out really, really intricate little pieces, that little piece would heat up like a piece of charcoal and drop down into the bin. And if you didn't have the bin cleaned,
off you go.
I can see that happening.
The difference with the Chinese lasers and the JTechs, if you run a Chinese lasers for 4 hours every day, they're going to burn up. But if you ran a JTech for 4 or 5 hours, it's not going to overheat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I have heard in these forums, especially the Ortour forum, JTech makes actually their 40 watt diode laser. It will fit on the Ortour frame, and you can use it. And like he said, it boosts it up to like 7 or 8 watts. Yeah, for engraving or like light cutting, that would be perfect.
Just need something to cut material
thing
with.
I can tell you is I have heard really great things about the JTech diode lasers. They say they're fantastic. So, yeah, if I was going to do it, I'd try it. I mean, they're only what are they? Only $100, ain't they?
A JTech? No, they're kind of expensive.
A good JTech is $500. The one I bought, I paid $700, and it was awesome. But you're not going to cut. It's good for cutting balsa wood and cutting fabrics, but them lasers they're awesome for engraving.
Yeah, they'll last forever.
Right, they're not going to fail.
I didn't think they were that expensive. Holy crap!
No, they're built pretty good, man. Good bracketing. They're magnet mounts, so they'll clip on and off.
Yeah, the cheapest one you can get is $364, but then they go all the way up to $824 to $1,400. But that's for their pulse width modulation and their cutting.
Okay, so this is what I laser engraved that you saw in the video. I'm gonna give this to my son. I like how it did the little dot for the eye.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep.
I like how it did that. Yeah, I want to give this to him. Like I said, this is 1/8 inch. That's what the side looks like. You can see how it's kind of brown where it burnt through it. So, and you get, I've noticed this and I didn't know what it was, but when I first got it and seen it, but you see the little black marks every once in a while on the edge. That's flash from the honeycomb bed. When it comes across the piece of metal, it actually has a little flash that makes those little marks across the edge right there.
Now, if you look at the very edge of that piece there, if you start getting a slight curve, then you know your laser's getting out of focus. But
yes,
like you said, you don't have to adjust them. Maybe every 5 years, if that. And then that's if you bump it or you bump the machine or something.
Yep. He said, Brian said he can cut 1/4 inch maple, no worries, 3/8. But yeah, I haven't tried 3/8 yet, Brian. I can cut 1/4 inch Baltic birch, 1/4 inch maple. I cut some 1/4 inch oak the other day without too much of a problem. So the 80 watt will cut really good. Brian, I might want to talk to you. I'm wanting to get maybe a little bit better lens and for my laser, and I'm trying to think of the name of the place, but that sells the lens that a lot of people are recommending. Anyway, I'll get with you, Brian, about that. But and I know they have different focal depths. The lens I want, you got a 1.5, a 2 inch, and a 4 inch, and I want the 1.5 to start off with, which is basically the same lens that I have in my laser. But these lenses that I'm talking about are more expensive and they're a lot better quality. So they give you a lot better cut or engraving too. So, but any more questions? I love it. I love the I like my little Autour, and I still use my Autour. Like I told you, I use the Autour for the cups. I like that.
Russ, Doug McCarty's out there. He had a question about, is that with the self-contained or CNC mounted that burned up? And I'm not sure what he's really referring to.
I don't understand what you mean by burned up.
Maybe he'll pop back in. I asked him to kind of.
I think he's talking about that story Russ was talking about with the laser cutting vinyl records.
Yeah, vinyl.
Yeah. Vinyl, it was enclosed like mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an
a tube laser. Yeah. Instead of a diode laser.
Tube laser. Yeah.
The first thing that PVC gas does that's poisonous is it burns the gold right off the mirror lens. That's real gold on that lens.
Yeah. Brian said, mirror, if any difference between the 1.5 and a 2 inch. That's what I heard. There wasn't a lot of difference between the 1.5 but the 4 inch is a bit drastic difference. The 1.5, from my understanding, Brian gives a little bit more of a DPI, more of a finer.
You're talking thousands of an inch.
Yeah.
That's what people are talking about. They're really
and Brian, and he pointed out something that is true. He said records will even ruin. Yes, they'll run anything because it's producing chlorine gas. Yep. Chlorine gas is one of the most corrosive things on this planet. Let me tell you. When I worked for the fire department, just real quick, they had this little city called Fort Meade had automated their water system so that they didn't only had to go out there every so often and check it. It was automatic chlorine injection and everything. They could get on the Wi-Fi, and check it and make sure everything, they could see the pressures, know everything was all right and everything. So they were like, it was no more on a daily basis. They had to send somebody out there. They could go for 2 or 3 days, in other words. Well, it just so happened to be they did that 2 or 3 days. It was like we're coming up on a Labor Day weekend. So nobody went out there Friday. Nobody went out there Saturday. And on a Sunday afternoon, and somebody was out there on a Wednesday or Thursday. So on a Sunday afternoon, there was no water for the city. So they went out there to check it, and they opened the door between Wednesday or Thursday, which was the last time they checked it, and Sunday, they had a chlorine leak inside the building, and every electronic device in that building was slap up in 3 days.
Yeah, you guys would not believe how corrosive raw chlorine is. It's just
everything. There was no way to fix it either. They weren't getting water as far as from that. They had to set it up and start doing manually. That meant somebody had to sit there 24 hours a day running that thing until they could get it all back up and running. They had to take turns in the city. So
it's awful.
Yeah. So chlorine, and that's what those vinyl records start producing. So that gas is getting in there and eating your laser slap up. So
just knowing it comes from crude oil, it makes me wonder.
Yeah. Chlorine gas in industry, it was one of the first gases to be used as a weapon in World War I. Yes, you're right. It was used in World War I.
But I'm kind of against, even if the record is scratched up, kind of against damaging old albums.
I know.
Yeah.
Chlorine. What do you think is in chloroform? It's also a derivative, not chlorine gas itself, but it's a derivative of chlorine. And it's in chloroform. It puts your, back in the day that they used to put your butt to sleep to do surgeries, where the guy'd drop a little drop on the mask over your face every so often, keep you asleep.
Then he'd take one, and then he'd give you two, and then he'd operate on you.
Or the housemate threatens to take me out of this world.
Yeah. Brian said the best results he gets is from cast acrylic. Okay, Brian, thank you. I appreciate that. Brian Warner. So the 1.5 lens is a 0.005 kerf, and the 2 inch is a 0.007 kerf. You're right. That's pretty tight. That ain't a lot of difference there.
Yeah,
How do you
not very
know so
much.
Brian? How long have you been messing with lasers, Brian? If you wouldn't mind putting that out there, because you seem like a very knowledgeable person. How long you been having a laser and been messing around with lasers? I'd like to know that. Chloroform is formed by the reaction of chlorine with the organic substance present in water, and thus can occur in drinking water, which has been chlorinated. Yes, between 3 and 4 years. Okay, you got me beat. I started playing with lasers.
Yeah, there you go.
October. Yeah, I started messing with lasers in October of last year. That's when I got my first the Ore Tour. Now I can tell you this much: I've had a CNC for 3, 4, 5 years. So my the CNC experience with computers and how they work helped a whole lot transforming over to the laser. That was a big help right there. I mean, I already knew about feeds and depth and all that other kind of stuff. So it was really fairly quick for me to pick up on the laser. So that helped a lot. So if you're a CNC person and you're going over to laser, you'll be able to use a lot of your experience from CNC.
I just find it funny that when I was coming up, lasers existed, but it was only something scientists played with.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was just something, from Star Wars to kill people with. Now you got them playing in your garage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fun. Let me tell you, they're fun. Actually, I am still considering buying a CNC. Me and my wife were talking about it the other day. But actually, that laser will do everything and more than a CNC, except for the fact, if you're wanting to do a 3-dimensional look carving like a bear or something, yeah, you're going to do CNC. But if you're wanting to, if only Lightburn worked with a CNC, yeah, you got that right. Yeah, because you have to, if you want to do a CNC right, you can buy a Spire, which is like $1,200, I think it is.
You can do some really nice engraving with a laser. You just can't go too thick.
Yes.
Right, and then you got to clean it all up. You're going to have all that char you want to clean up for the depth. I'm talking about if you're burning depth.
Well, yeah, but if you do a 1/4 inch, you can get away with it.
Well, I'll tell you this much: that 80 watt, I bumped the power up to I usually run about 20, 25 to engrave. Anywhere in that, depending on the wood. The maximum will be 25. Usually I run down around 20 for engraving. One day I played around and put a piece of pine in there and bumped it up to 35. And let me tell you, at 35 power, it cut down into that pine a good 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. And I was like,
that's pretty good.
It cut deep enough that I could have filled it with epoxy. Yeah, it cut deep enough that I could have put colored epoxy in it and made a real nice sign out of it. So that actually surprised me. But once again, you need the softer wood like a pine or something to be able to cut down into it. So
But yeah,
I'm just
Dixon
waiting to
is
see
right. If
somebody.
you go real deep, you'll get all that shit.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
can get
you're
real deep.
vaporizing. You're not
Yeah.
gonna. You're not gonna. It's defeating the purpose where you can CNC. You get a clean cut. You're
Right.
vaporizing the
No,
charcoal.
CNC has its place, and I'm still
Yep.
considering get one. But I was wanting to get the Big Mac Daddy digital wood carver. I'm thinking more now because even with the one that I had that was capable of cutting, mine's 4 foot by 4 foot, but it's only capable of cutting like 30, 36, 38 inches because you got a little bit of play on each side that you can't cut out full. So I've never cut anything, really never need anything that big. So I'm thinking about going with the smaller digital wood carver, which is only actually about $2,800. So
I'm just waiting to see
We'll see.
somebody cook a steak with one.
Exactly.
You know that's going to be the next YouTube challenge.
change the direction of the cut. Yes. That's another thing, and the angle and the light. Yeah, change the angle and light. That's another thing great about light burn. Instead of having the laser go back and forth, you can actually have it go hatch cut or side by or on a 45-degree angle when it's engraving to make the engraving a little bit better. Now, I will tell you this much: I usually run around 300 DPI. That my laser says it will do 4,500 DPI.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm usually running around 300, and I don't. And it looked very. This was done at 300 DPI. So, and that looks great. You don't see it looks really, really nice, really, really uniform. I mean, you're going to see some of the. Let me get over here to the U. You're going to see some of the grain of the wood or whatever. You can't stop but seeing that, but that's really uniform, really nice. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. So, Jim Docker only $2,800. Heck, the one that I want to get, Jim, is $6,000. It's like $5,500, $5,800.
You're gonna have to be careful because now that you got that laser, you're not going to use that CNC as much. So
that henceforth getting the smaller one, so I have it to be able to make small stuff. But yes, that it wouldn't just sit there.
We had debates. We had debates a while back on some podcasts years ago, and I used to always tell people, and some people are going to disagree, that 3-dimensional CNC that you're doing that carving and the machine's running for 6 hours, people do not want to pay for that. At least I've been doing sign business for 30-some years. They don't want to pay for that. So what I do is I do some carving, then I cut out the letters in that with a laser and glue them on, so it all looks 3-dimensional. But you cut the time by a third. That they'll pay for, but they don't want to pay for that CNC running for 6 hours back and forth to get that beautiful engraving.
Yep. 300 DPI is about 0.007 gap between passes. Yeah. Then that's what that was 300 DPI. I can't imagine 4,500. Hell, it'd take 2 hours to do 1 inch at 4,500. You'd be sitting there all day. So, Maker 238 Deloach, fellas, how's it going? We're doing good.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
How's the pool going?
My wife, we had our grandbaby over, and they came and dropped her off about the time we were fixing to start supper. So, with her here, we never got around to eating supper. So, let me show you that real quick. One more. We're fixing to close out, but I want to show you one more thing before I close out.
Well, Ryan just made up some pen blanks that were really, really cool looking.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't watched this video on that, go take a second to watch it.
He's the proud owner of a new saw stop.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's nice. All right, so we were going to have a special guest tonight on the show, but unfortunately they came around. I said so I haven't eaten dinner. I'm going to go eat. And my wife is cooking T-bones, and I can smell them.
Ooh,
God!
Oh my God! I'm hungry. I didn't eat.
Yep. So anyway, I'm sharing this.
He's gonna show a picture of T-Bones, isn't he?
14 hours. I'll be there.
Yeah.
This was my special guest tonight, but unfortunately, she fell asleep.
I'll see how entertaining you are.
Yep. This is our granddaughter. Her name's Collins, and this is Corey and Cheyenne's baby. My son Corey and his wife Cheyenne.
Oh,
She looks just like Corey. I told Corey, now you're going to see what you look like if you were a girl. Yeah, she looks just like his baby picture. She looks really like him.
And she's just old enough, so they're like, if she's asleep, leave her alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were watching her tonight. They're working. Both of them work night shifts, and they're working tonight. So we're watching her for them. So
She's a cutie pie.
But anyway, thank you, people. Ryan said she's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. I appreciate that.
She's a
Thank you very
cutie.
much. All right, guys. We're out of here. It's 9:30. The T-Bone's waiting on me. We got baked potato, T-bone, and salad. So
I got to go find something. I just woke up right before the show.
yeah. So, guys, and thank you, Al, Paul, Donald, Dixon, Chris, and Jim for being on tonight. And thank all y'all out there in the chat. I appreciate it very much. And Brian, I do want to get with you. I have some questions for you and some things I want to talk to you about. So, but thank you again out there for all yo Aussie man, Ryan, Leonard Davis, all y'all, James Parker, all y'all that were out there in the chat. I want to tell you thank you. I appreciate you very much.
Have a happy, safe Labor Day.
Yep. Yeah. And yeah, definitely. It's Labor Day, and have a safe one. Listen, if you're too darn busy to get out in your shop and make some sawdust, you're just too darn busy. And in my case, it's burning sawdust. You're just too darn busy. Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Good night, boys and girls.
And God bless. I appreciate
Good night,
you so
everyone.
very much.
And remember, you
Bye,
don't
folks.
have to go home, but you can't stay here.
what
Nope.
he said.
You got to get out of here.
Sorry.
See you
folks.
later, guys. Good night.